Okay, so I think we can start. If you recall, we started going through business and environment. We're done with the strategic management, section 6, and now we're in the process of covering topics from section 1, business and environment, and we'll continue with this. This will be followed by obviously people and organizations, section 2, so on and so forth. So if you recall in the previous class, from section 1, business and environment, we just covered adding value. We learned a bit about what adding value is. Adding value, changing the perception of the customers about a product so that they start feeling that this product now is more beneficial. And then we tried to understand the concept with the help of a few examples also. When multiple users of the same product, they are publicized. We discussed all those examples regarding cell phones and Nike, etc. So that was adding value. Now, the topic under discussion, very, very important topic from section 1, and we're very frequently asked also. That is called ethics. Ethics, you can call it ethics, ethical issues. In fact, you can give the heading ethics/CSR. CSR is corporate social responsibility. Ethics, CSR, or triple bottom line. Ethics/CSR/triple bottom line. Triple bottom line. Ethics, CSR, triple bottom line. And CSR, as you know, stands for corporate social responsibility. Right? Ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line. Okay. Now, considering the fact this is extremely important topic, and not only short questions, we should expect proper essay type questions in all 3 papers. That's the significance of ethics. In all 3 papers, you'll see questions frequently based on ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line. And I would strongly suggest that whenever there's an essay type question on this topic, combine these 3. Combine ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line into one answer. If it's an essay type, any question that carries 8+ marks, make sure you combine these into one answer. Very, very important, because there's a lot of overlapping between these 2. And this will certainly add to the quality of the answer. Right? Okay, let's try and understand this step by step. First of all, always try to define the key term first. The key term is ethics or ethical issues. So just remember that the word ethics, it refers to a set of morals or values. What does the word ethics mean? A set of morals or values. That is ethics, right? A set of morals and values that are supposed to be followed by the members of a certain community. Right? Ethics, those morals, those values, those traditions that are followed by the members of a society, the members of a certain community. Right? A set of morals or values. So basically, in simple terms, you can say the do's and don'ts in the eyes of the society. The do's and don'ts that are determined from the viewpoint of the society, the community, do's and don'ts. Right? So set of morals, values that the society likes to adhere to, or they like to follow, those are categorized as ethical issues, number 1. And you have to give importance to the fact that I have not used the term government here. Issues that are addressed by the society, those are ethical issues. Issues addressed by the government, those are legal issues. We must know how to differentiate between these two. Ethical issues are addressed by the society, and legal issues are the ones which are addressed by the government. They're addressed by the government, which basically means the legal issues are the ones in the case of which the government has a proper, set of rules and regulations, laws, and anyone who violates these laws, the government can take the person to task. He can be penalized for this, fined, imprisoned. So those are legal issues that are addressed by or regulated by the government. Ethical issues, they are restricted to the society. Okay. Now let's try and understand this with the help of a few examples. You can quote your own examples also if you want to. For instance, there's a highly pertinent example considering the situation these days. There's a pressure group which is quite active in certain developed countries of the world. There's a pressure group, and this pressure group is protesting, or it is raising its voice against what? Against advertising directed towards children. This pressure group is raising its voice against advertising directed towards children. I'm trying to quote an example of an ethical issue. There's a pressure group, they're raising their voice against advertising directed towards children. This basically suggests that, these people are saying, they are of the opinion that it is the ethical responsibility of certain companies which are manufacturing products for children, that if they feel that the excessive consumption of this product will make them sick, they should refrain from advertising those products. Even if the government is okay with it, even if it's not a legal issue, even if it is not unlawful to advertise those products, this pressure group thinks that it is the ethical responsibility of those companies not to advertise those products, because they should know, they should realize the children under the influence of those ads are going to overconsume those products and they will fall sick. Right? So the most appropriate example is chocolates and candies. So you see, advertising chocolates or candies, by no means it's not illegal, obviously. The government is okay with it. It's not a legal issue when you advertise chocolates and candies. But this pressure group says that children are falling sick. They get influenced by these attractive advertisements, and they overconsume these products. And it is hazardous, it is disastrous for their health in the long run. So even though, the government, it allows these companies to advertise these chocolates and candies, it is their social responsibility that they should abstain from this or refrain from this. Right? That is a typical example of an ethical issue. So they are holding protests outside factories, etc., and they're pressurizing them that they should stop advertising these candies and chocolates for the reasons that I just stated. Right? Okay. Now, in the last one maybe decade or so, we have realized that there has been a new trend. But I mean, you have understood the difference between ethical and legal issues, right? Ethical issues addressed by the society, legal issues addressed by the government, right? But there's an ongoing trend now. There's certain issues which are ethical and legal at the same time also. right? There are issues which are ethical and legal at the same time also. Previously, there was a clear-cut distinction: ethical issues, society; legal issues, government. But now, over the years, things are evolving. They have evolved. And now there is an entire list of issues which are labeled as ethical and legal at the same time also. I'm sure you could all come up with examples. Child labor, for instance. Now, child labor is ethical and legal at the same time. The society has an objection to it. The society doesn't approve of this, hiring children at workplaces, etc. And the government has proper, strict labor laws regarding this. It is illegal to hire children. Illegal to hire children, right? So what we learned is that child labor is an issue which can be labeled as an ethical and a legal issue at the same time also. Right? Then, there's a whole list of such issues in which ethics and legalities, they overlap. Pollution, for instance. Pollution is an ethical and a legal issue at the same time. If you establish a plant, a factory, a cement plant in the city center, and you start polluting the environment, obviously the government wouldn't allow that. There are environmental laws and the society will object to it, because there's a huge issue of dust control associated with production of cement. Right? So pollution, child labor, there's a whole list: drugs, smoking in public places. All these are ethical and legal issues at the same time, because there are proper, strict laws regarding these, and the society also has a certain viewpoint regarding it, right? So this is the next step: ethics, legalities, and then they're overlapping also. Okay. Now, as I've already mentioned, when you discuss this topic, ethical issues, we have to combine this with CSR and triple bottom line. CSR and triple bottom line. Right? CSR stands for corporate social responsibility. What is CSR? Corporate social responsibility. That is CSR. And there's a lot of overlapping. We'll just discuss this. Corporate social responsibility. Okay. How do we define the term CSR, corporate social responsibility? CSR says that it is the responsibility of a business organization. This is a responsibility which is on the shoulders of the management of that company, that they must safeguard the interests of everyone in the society. CSR means that a business organization is answerable to everyone in the society, to all the stakeholders. Right? CSR says that a business organization is answerable to everyone in the organization, all the stakeholders. Not just the owners of the business, not just the shareholders. They're answerable to everyone in the society. This is CSR. That a business is answerable, a business organization is answerable to everyone in the society, all the stakeholders in the society. Not just the owners of the business, not just the shareholders. They're answerable to the employees, they're answerable to the customers. Like I just mentioned, they're answerable to children. They're answerable to the suppliers, to community, to society, everyone. So that is the concept behind CSR, that all the business organizations, they must fulfill their corporate social responsibility. They're accountable, they're answerable to everyone in the society. Not just the owners. Obviously, a business organization is always answerable to the owners. They have to make profits for them, the shareholders. But as you make profit, also make sure that you safeguard the interests of everybody else also. Of course, you're supposed to make profit. A business organization is supposed to make profit. But as you do that, do not undermine the importance or the interests or the rights of the society as a whole. That is CSR. That if you're running a restaurant business, make as much money as you want to, but make sure the ingredients are they're fresh and healthy. Like you just mentioned, cement plant. Use as much cement as you want to, but don't pollute the environment. But don't hire children. You are answerable to the society as a whole, all the stakeholders in the society, not just the shareholder, this CSR. And also remember, a business organization that fulfills its CSR is called a social enterprise. I repeat, any business organization, we've seen this question in 2019 also, a business organization that fulfills its CSR is called a social enterprise. It's called a social enterprise, right? So for example, McDonald's claims, again, example, that they are a social enterprise. The other companies also, Orange claims that's a social enterprise. You see, what they're suggesting is, McDonald's, for instance, they say, of course, it's a profit-seeking organization, one of the largest companies in the world, turnover of millions and millions of dollars, billions maybe. Their royalty is around $10 billion a year that they collect. But McDonald's says that we are trying to safeguard the interests of the society. Look at all these parks that we have financed. Something that we've noticed in our own city also. So by financing these parks, they are projecting themselves as an environment-friendly company or a society-friendly company. So that is why they're justified in saying, yes, we are a social enterprise. Or look at the hygienic conditions if they might claim. Or they might claim that we're using paper bags and not polythene bags because they can be recycled, so on and so forth. So I was just mentioning Orange Telecom, quite a well-established business, Orange Telecom. So Orange Telecom says that we are a social enterprise. Why? They suggest that, it's a telecom company. So they use those poles, those transmitters. So they have spent a substantial amount of money and they have developed transmitters that look like trees. Orange Telecom, they have developed transmitters or poles that look like trees, tree-shaped transmitters, tree-shaped transmitters. So that is why they're saying we are a social enterprise. They say we could have continued using the usual metallic poles, which are cheaper, but we went out of the way and we spent an extra amount of money and we've developed transmitters that look like trees. They will blend in with the environment. The message that they're sending out is that our transmitters will blend in with the environment. Since we're concerned about the landscape and the environment, right? So we went out of the way and we've spent a lot of money on research and development, and we've created these transmitters that look like trees. Tree-shaped transmitters. Another real-life example, you must remember and quote these examples. CSR ethics. So we can easily see the CSR ethics, they overlap. Okay, something very important. We'll quote other examples also. Why would a business organization do this? I've been mentioning you should always try to find the answer to the question, why? Why should a business organization, a manufacturer, any company, why should they go through the hassle of doing all this? The reason is simple. The purpose is that they want to enhance their image in the eyes of the stakeholders. These are image building tactics, remember. What McDonald's is doing or what Orange is doing, and all the companies, when they try to fulfill their CSR, when they try to act in an ethically responsible manner, these are image building tactics. They're enhancing their image in the eyes of the stakeholders. These are image building tactics, right? By doing this, their image is enhanced, their credibility improves, their goodwill improves, attracting more customers, leading to higher sales, leading to higher profit. So the ultimate objective has to be profit. Always remember, if a business organization is fulfilling its CSR and it is giving importance to ethics, maybe it is contributing towards a charitable cause, like Ariel says, buy a pack of Ariel and a certain amount will be donated to Shaukat Khanum. So the purpose is, like I said, these are image building tactics. They want their sales to jump. Orange says that there has been an 18 to 20% increase in sales ever since they developed those tree-shaped transmitters. So you have to keep in mind, these are not charitable organizations. It should be reflected in your answers, because you know, when I'm marking the papers, it's such a commonly committed mistake that students, they often get carried away. And the way they are describing a business organization, it seems like they're discussing a charitable organization. No, it should be reflected in your answers that these are profit-seeking organizations. And even if they do something for society, or they're ethically responsible, or charitable, etc., the purpose is to improve the image and increase sales and profit. That's the purpose. Image building tactics. Right? So it has to be underlined. Clearly, it has to be conveyed to the examiner that the profit motive should never be compromised. If it's a business organization, profit has to be the ultimate motive. We all know that. So all these companies, if Anita Roddick says, the chief executive of Body Shop, that our products, Body Shop, they're not tested on animals. So again, an image building tactic, because it does have a huge impact on sales, especially in developed countries. These issues, environment related, otherwise social issues, they attach a lot of importance to this, right? So this is very important, the profit motive, right? Okay, then we have used another term also, triple bottom line, right? Triple bottom line. So just keep in mind, triple bottom line must be discussed along with ethics and CSR if it's an essay type question. Technically, as you know, an essay type question is the one that carries 8 to 20 marks. In fact, today I will select a couple of questions from past papers just to give you an idea, the kind of questions that can be set or based on ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line. So triple bottom line is another similar concept. Triple bottom line, there are 3 layers. And usually the philosophy is, in triple bottom line, the philosophy is that if a business organization wants to achieve long-term success, then the route to success goes through 3 different layers. The route to success, it goes through 3 different layers. Right? And what are those 3 layers? Try to remember, I think it will be easier for you. S, E, and E. S, E, E. S for social, E for environmental, and E for economic. S, E, E. This is how I used to remember this. Social, environmental, economic. So in today's world, if you want to be successful in the long run as a business person, as a business organization, you must give due importance to the social factors, the environmental factors, and then the economic factor is the ultimate destination. Social, environmental, economic, and I think now you understand this very well, because we've just done CSR and ethics. They're absolutely overlapping, right? That a business organization that wants to be successful, it has to be socially responsible, like I just discussed. Socially responsible, don't hire children, don't do stuff which is bad for the society. Don't sell stuff which is not healthy. Be socially responsible. Be environment friendly. Don't pollute the environment. Think green and all that. And number three, when you do this, ultimate destination or factor or objective to be achieved, it has to be the economic factor. It has to be the economic factor. Right? Social, environmental, economic. That is the triple bottom line. These are the three layers that you must go through if you want to be successful. That's been right. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, there are companies that have adopted the strategy. And I would like to mention one such company, Shell. Shell, the Dutch oil company, one of the largest, the second largest company in the world in oil. So Shell claims openly that our strategy is the triple bottom line strategy. That's our philosophy. Triple bottom line. But just to, maintain some originality or creativity, instead of using the term triple bottom line, they've used the term triple P philosophy. They use the term triple P philosophy, PPP philosophy, right? So triple bottom line philosophy, as we have just noticed and discussed, it overlaps with the concept of CSR, corporate social responsibility, and ethics. Absolutely. This is absolutely almost similar. And triple bottom line, something that we've just learned, that a business organization that wants to be successful in the long run, they have to give importance to the social factors, the environmental factors, and this will eventually lead them to those economic factors. So as we were discussing, Shell openly claims that yes, our philosophy is the triple bottom line philosophy, but for that originality, instead of using the term triple bottom line, they use the term PPP philosophy, triple P philosophy. They use the term triple P philosophy, right? Okay. So in this triple P philosophy, PPP philosophy, they are just sending the message out that a business organization that wants to achieve long-term success, and of course, they're quoting their own example, Shell, the oil company, that our products, not only oil or not only the petrol which is being used in these motor vehicles, there are so many products which are derived from that oil that they drill and that they refine. They say that our products are for the people of this world. In triple P philosophy, the first P, that's for people. That is for people, right? So Shell claims that our petrol and the other products, the wide range of products, we have made a difference, right? The lifestyle of the people all around the world. And they're right about it also. Their products are being used almost everywhere in the world. Shell is one of the largest companies in the world. So Shell says our philosophy is triple. So our products, we have made a difference. We have changed, improved the lifestyle of people. We have contributed towards that. This is what they're saying. So the first P would be people. And you might have guessed, P number two, the original triple bottom line philosophy was social, environmental, economic. So in case of Shell, it's people. And the second P stands for planet friendliness. Planet. So instead of using the term environment, like I said, just for their originality, they say, we are a planet friendly company. They have actually broadened the scope and they say, we are a planet friendly company. Shell. And you see the background is, and you might have noticed this if you ever visited a petrol station, they often use this, they claim that the content of lead is an element which supposedly contributes towards that hole in the ozone layer, lead. So Shell claims that the content of lead in our petrol is minimal, right? The content of lead is minimal. So they claim that we are doing our bit, for this environment, for this world, for the planet, preservation of the conservation of the entire planet and the environment. So they say the amount of money that we have spent on R&D, research and development, we have tried to ensure that we minimize the content of lead in our petrol because we're concerned about the landscape and the environment and the ozone layer and the planet. So Shell claims we are a planet-friendly company. So instead of using the term environment, it's planet friendliness, right? And it should not be difficult to guess. The third P should be for profit, right? So instead of mentioning economic in SEE, the original triple bottom line, they have used the word profit. So who can challenge the fact or they claim that yes, of course, Shell is a profit-seeking organization. Again, a turnover of billions and billions of dollars, maybe close to $1 trillion on a yearly basis. So yes, it is a profit-seeking organization. It's a proper, genuine business organization. Profit maximization is the ultimate objective that they want to achieve. And I might have used this term or this phrase in class also. The ultimate gauge, scale, GAUGE, the ultimate gauge for measuring the success of a business is profit. The ultimate gauge to measure the success of a business is profit, undoubtedly. So whatever a business organization does, whether they're trying to fulfill their corporate social responsibility or they're trying to act in an ethically responsible manner, whether you quote examples such as Anita Roddick and Body Shop and McDonald's and Orange Telecom, those tree-shaped transmitters, or what Shell is saying, the ultimate goal has to be profit, and it should be, like I was mentioning, it should be reflected in your answers. Never ever convey this message to the examiner that you are not discussing a business organization, maybe it's a charitable organization. No. For a business organization, profit has to be the ultimate motive. So you can easily see the link between CSR, ethics, and triple bottom line, right? Okay, now something very important. I'm going to quote a few examples, or I'm going to refer to a couple of questions from the past papers, case studies. Okay, it is such an important topic, ethics and CSR and triple bottom line, so that you have a fairly accurate idea about how the questions are structured based on CSR, ethics, and triple bottom line, right? So let's try and understand that. Now, there are two possibilities. You all have to pay attention that there are two possibilities. Either, if you're lucky enough, you will come across a straightforward question on ethics, definition, explanation, CSR, social, what is a social enterprise, triple bottom line. But there's a very high probability that the question will be based on either a data response passage, paper 2, or a proper case study, paper 3. And the examiner, the paper setter, they would like you to discuss the importance of ethics, discuss the importance of CSR, triple bottom line, keeping in view a particular business organization or a particular industry or a certain kind of product, right? You will have to refer to the context. Whatever we've discussed today, everything is relevant and you will discuss this. Image building, etc., examples, pollution, child labor, yes. But the answer partially would revolve around what the information they provided us with in the passage. It will be based on that information and you will have to mold your answer accordingly. That is why I was suggesting previously also, people who do better in business, there's something in common, that their writing skills are better usually. You need to have a good grip over the language, a command over the language. Your writing skills have to be good because of the simple reason that, the last few years, the trend is you have to express your opinion, you have to come up with ideas, use your observation, general knowledge in addition to the knowledge of the subject and curriculum, right? You have to mold the answer in a logical, in a rational way. I'll quote an example. In fact, three examples. There was a question, Star Pharmaceuticals, paper 2, that there's a pharmaceutical company. They're producing a variety of medicines, etc., life-saving drugs also. What is the importance of ethics for Star Pharmaceuticals, for this pharmaceutical company? You understand? The question is, what is the importance of ethics for a pharmaceutical company, for this particular pharmaceutical company? Refer to the case study, refer to the business. Now you will have to mold the answer. Like I said, you have to discuss everything what we did today. But then there have to be a few points which are absolutely relevant to a pharmaceutical business. You have to use your judgment. You see, points such as child labor, etc., they can be discussed with any question. They're somewhat generalized. But for a pharmaceutical company, especially, for instance, if they are dealing in life-saving drugs, which is the case, it is mentioned they're life-saving drugs, it is their ethical and social responsibility to make sure that those medicines are not overpriced. It is the ethical and social responsibility to make sure that those medicines are not overpriced. I think it makes perfect sense, right? That's their ethical and social responsibility. Or if, in their medicines, they have some ingredients which could possibly be hazardous, which could possibly lead to some, some side effects, some after effects. It is your ethical and social responsibility that you inform the customers, warn the customers properly about those ingredients, those elements. So the warning has to be there on the label. Right? This is how you mold the answer, with reference to the context. This is what it means. That they have to warn the customers. Then, of course, they should dispose of the waste material properly in an environment-friendly way, because they are, of course, the production process involves elements, which could be dangerous, harmful. There are the chemicals involved. They should be disposed of properly. And then another responsibility is to make sure that the workers, the members of the workforce, they're exposed to all that radiation and all those chemicals. They should be properly equipped. They should be properly equipped. The safety gear, the safety equipment, the gloves, the masks, the medicines, the employer should provide them. So this is how you discuss a pharmaceutical business. And the same example that we discussed in the case of the body shop, Anita Roddick, you can easily add that their medicines should not be tested on animals. The medicine should not be tested on animals. That's another relevant point to be discussed here. right? So this is how you mold the answer. Another question. There was another case study. Ganmore Cars. It's a car manufacturer now. Like I said, this topic has such a high probability that you will find this in either paper 1, 2, or 3. A greater probability finding in paper 2 and 3 case study or data response. So Ganmore Cars, again, importance of ethics for this. So now it's a car manufacturer. Discuss the generalized points that you want to, child labor, etc. But now mold the answer, keeping in view the operations of a car manufacturer. Right? For instance, seat belts, airbags, right? It is their moral obligation, it is their ethical responsibility, it is their social responsibility to make sure that all their motor vehicles, they have these airbags, they have their seat belts, because the safety of the commuters, safety of the customers, the people who use these cars, their cars, it is the responsibility of the car manufacturer to ensure that. Right? Safety of the commuters. So seat belts, I think that makes good sense. Airbags, right? Or maybe those fumes that are emitted, they should not be hazardous. Use some technology when you're manufacturing your engines that they are more environment friendly. So come up with points that are logical, that are rational, that are relevant to the situation. I think I mentioned this previously, but again, the examiners, the paper setters, they keep telling us that you are exactly converters. That's right. That's correct. So, they keep mentioning that for an excellent, this is very important. The examiners say that for an excellent answer in terms of knowledge, etc., content, for an excellent answer, you give your student 4 out of 10. Now you have to remember this. And I quote, the examiners, they say that for an excellent answer, we should give 4 out of 10 to our student. Why? Because he or she did not refer to the passage. This goes on to show how important it is to refer to the passage, refer to the context, refer to the situation. That for a great answer, almost a perfect answer, 40%, 4 out of 10. But if the same answer, if you establish a link with the passage, okay, people who are joining in, we have been discussing, still our ethics, CSR, triple bottom line. In fact, we're reaching the end of the discussion. Another 5-10 minutes. So I was just mentioning that the examiners, they suggest that 4 out of 10 for an answer just because you did not establish a link with the passage. But once you do that, once you start referring to the passage, like you just mentioned, that the car, if it's environment friendly, or if you take care of, you're concerned about the well-being of the people who drive that car, or the pharmaceutical company, if the life-saving drugs are not overpriced or they are not hazardous, or anything. Once you refer to the context, you establish a link with the passage, for the same answer, 8 or 9 out of 10. Same answer, 8 or 9 out of 10, if you refer. This is especially in case of, obviously, paper 2 and paper 3. Because in paper 1, there is no passage. Especially in case of paper 2 and 3, this is what you're supposed to do, referring to the context. In fact, I would even say, in the last 2, 3, 4 years, we've seen, even in paper 1, though we don't have a passage there in P1, but they might mention a product, or they might specify a business in a short question, in an essay, without a passage to discuss economies of scale for a retailer of shoes or clothes. So in that case also, or discuss the importance of lean production or JIT for an electronics manufacturer, for a cell phone manufacturer, even if it's paper one, if it is mentioned electronics or cell phones or a restaurant or shoes or shirts, you refer to it. Avoid generalized answers. This is the point that I'm trying to underline here. So I think you've understood this. Pharmaceutical company, car manufacturing, and in the end, just I have to refer to this. You know, there's a paper 3 case study, and hopefully we'll certainly discuss that once we are done with this, with the syllabus and revising the important topics and all. We'll certainly discuss that that case study. It was 2016 Cameron jet engines. Paper 3. Okay. So interestingly enough, in this case study, same year, same paper, there were 2 questions that revolved around ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line. 2 questions, same paper. And I would like to quote the first one at least. There's a question based on bribery. Now, this is not something that you will find in the curriculum or in a book or in notes or, you know. So just to give you an idea, this one last example with reference to ethics, CSR, and triple bottom line. All of you must revise this topic. Keep in mind, very, very important topic. The one that we discussed in this class, ethics, CSR, triple bottom line. Make sure you revise it properly, and you need to have a very firm grip over this. Okay, so referring to this case study, Cameron, you know, I'll just sum this up. This company, they were manufacturing, it's an aircraft manufacturer. In fact, they manufactured jet engines. So now they want to enter the helicopter market. A lucrative market, you know, a huge opportunity for them to expand their business, overseas market and all that. So they are trying to win a contract, but the government officials are saying in that country that, you know, fair and square, you're not winning this contract. It's a very interesting question. You must all concentrate. This is the last example. So the government officials say that fair and square on merit, no, you're not winning this contract, whatever the reasons are, the quality, after sales service, prices, etc. However, the government official drops a hint, a clear-cut hint, that if you can arrange some facilitating payments, quote unquote, facilitating payments. They don't use the word bribe, they say facilitating payments, which is bribery, a softer way of saying bribe. So if you can arrange some facilitating payments and transfer the amount to my personal account, maybe we can pull some strings and we can do something about it, and maybe you can win the contract after all. So the question was, based on ethics, CSR, that what do you recommend to the directors or to the marketing people of Cameron jet engines? Should there be, I've mentioned this before, okay. So should we be okay with this? You know, it's okay if you you act not in an ethically responsible manner and make those facilitating payments and transfer the amount to his personal account, the government official's account. Even if we have discussed this example before, this is very useful, especially for those who have not attended that class. Or do you think, you know, they should focus on CSR, ethics, triple bottom line, and just let the contract go? Very interesting question. So partially you will answer this question referring to ethics and all that. That will be easier. That, you know, keeping in mind that honesty is the best policy, the directors of Cameron jet engines, they should stay away from this. They should try to win it fair and square. They should try to identify the weak areas and resolve those problems. And if the customer service or if the after sales service is not good, try to improve upon that. If the price that they're quoting If the price is too high, try to reduce the price, improve marketing, focus on the actual marketing activities rather than, relying on such illegal or immoral ways and means of winning a contract. So, but since the question is evaluation based, you have to address it from the other angle also. That maybe it's okay for him to win the contract by arranging these facilitating payments, maybe because it's a profit-seeking organization and they should be more worried about profit and expansion. And maybe it's a PLC and the share prices might jump if they win the contract and the business expands. And they should be worried about the dividends that they have to offer to the shareholders, which will increase as a result of this. So this is the kind of question that you should expect on ethics, CSR, triple bottom line. You will try to, of course, you will try to support the idea also that we must fulfill our CSR, but at the same time, the other side should be highlighted. And in the concluding paragraph, in the concluding remarks, you can always give your verdict. But you should be prepared. These are proper essay type questions, and in which your knowledge of not only business, but overall, your observation, your language skills, everything will come into effect. And in fact, in the same case study, there was a question on window dressing. I don't know whether I mentioned this before, window dressing also. The finance manager, same company, he window dresses the figures. Window dressing means overstating or understating the figures. Overstating or understating the figures. So there was another question also, that if he forges the figures, if he overstates the figures, just to enhance the image of the organization in the eyes of the stakeholders, is he doing the right thing? Or ethically and legally, he's not on the right track. He must not forge the figures. He should be honest and fulfill our CSR and all that. So the kind of question you can expect based on CSR ethics. So very important topic, revise this. And one more thing before we leave. Your next class, we have an on-campus class on Thursday, right? And Friday. So I won't be here. I won't be in the country on Thursday and Friday. So those two classes will be rescheduled and you will be informed accordingly. Most probably there's going to be an online class in lieu of, in place of those classes that are scheduled for this Thursday and Friday. Since I'll be away. So you'll be informed regarding that and the time and everything, right? So just revise this. And the next topic, by the way, that we are going to cover in section 1, that is MBO. Just write it down, MBO. MBO stands for Management by Objectives Theory. There's a theory by Peter Drucker, Drucker's MBO theory, Management by Objectives. Just write it down so that we remember next time. MBO, Management by Objectives Theory by Peter Drucker. That's going to be our next topic. Of course, it's a part of business and its environment, section 1. All right, everyone, this is it. Allah Hafiz.